Predator is a notoriously rough wooden roller coaster manufactured by the Din Corporation in 1990 and is located at Six Flags Darien Lake in Darien Center, New York. Predator recently received some of GCI's Steel Titan track to help alleviate part of the problem. This track was placed at a turnaround at about the midway point of the ride that was commonly known to be one of the roughest points of the whole layout. This turn had garnered the title of the Death Turn for the excessive shakiness and brutal jackhammering throughout the duration of the turn. Darien Lake sought to eliminate this with the installation of the Titan track. Were they successful, and does it make the ride that much better? We'll be discussing the answers to those questions in today's video. Before we get into those answers, make sure to do me a huge favor by liking this video, as doing so will greatly increase the reach of this video, allowing more people to be able to see this review. Also, if you enjoy content about Darien Lake and Western New York, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this coming soon. With that said, let's get into the video. Back in 2019, GCI introduced their Titan track at IAAPA, which is basically their take on the iBox track made by RMC. They first tested this track on White Lightning at FunSpot Orlando in 2020, and it was then revealed by Claire Hayne Jr., the president of GCI, that the track would be installed on Predator at Six Flags Darien Lake in the future. Unfortunately, we didn't see any changes to Predator for the 2021 season due to the COVID-19 restrictions at the time, which led many, including myself, to think that this project might have been cancelled. Luckily, we later found out that Predator did get Titan track on the Death Turn a few weeks before the start of the 2022 season, and that brings us to where we are today. The first time I visited Darien Lake this year, Predator was closed for maintenance, but the second time I visited the park, it was open and I snagged 2 rides on it. One in the front row and one in row 5. You'll notice just by walking by the ride that when the train traverses the track, it is very loud. And makes a noise similar to what you might hear in a B&M. The ride wasn't much different from past years on Predator until you hit that little bump before the Death Turn. The Titan track begins as you pull into the very small hill. Shockingly, this moment provided strong and sustained floor airtime as you crest over it. Prior to the retracking, I never thought or noticed this hill having any airtime before. Maybe it was due to poor profiling or just the roughness of the ride, but this was a pleasant surprise. The turn itself was silky smooth. I didn't think the laterals were anything crazy on this turn, probably due to the restrictive PTC trains that this coaster runs. I got some lateral force on this turn, but the turn felt very gentle for the most part. However, I would guess that the turn packs more of a punch toward the back of the train, which is something I have yet to experience. Unfortunately, once you exit the section with the Titan track, the ride brings you back to reality with an uncomfortable airtime hill, which you can't even tell if it has airtime or not because you are more concerned with avoiding injury than actually experiencing the forces of the ride. I think the Titan track rode very well and even exceeded my expectations to some extent. That pop of airtime was very surprising and shows GCI is perfectly capable of being able to profile their elements to perfection with this track. Unfortunately, this does not do much to take away from the overarching fact that Predator is still very rough in general and has some poor profiling that takes away from any airtime you may get on this ride. The park seems to be trying really hard to keep this coaster around in its current form, so I don't know how much more Titan track this ride could get in the future. The general public still seems to have a negative opinion on this ride, and many think it is the worst ride in the park. I think it would be wise to add more Titan track to the ride or redo it entirely. I think the layout itself is pretty solid, and with a few profiling changes could make for a very solid coaster that could contend for being one of the best in the park. However, I have a hard time seeing it happen given that the park loves to market this as a wooden coaster, but hopefully that could leave room for more elements to receive the Titan track in the future. As for the future of the Titan track, I think the success on Predator should help to open many doors in the future. They've already installed it on Wolverine Wildcat at Michigan's Adventure, and that seems to have gone well. I'm sure more coasters will get a similar treatment, and I also think that we are not too far away from seeing a full or at least a larger installation of Titan track somewhere, especially since Six Flags and Cedar Fair have both tested it. GCI has also stated they can do inversions, launches, and ground up installations, so we'll have to wait and see who is next to order some Titan track. That said, those are my thoughts on the Titan track on Predator at Darien Lake. If you've experienced Titan track on Predator, Wolverine Wildcat, or White Lightning, make sure to let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, as I would love to see how our opinions compare. If you'd like to see a full video on what I think the future of the Titan track looks like, make sure to tell me that in the comments below as well. If If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like to show your support and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more Daring Lake content soon. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.